back. Soul Glitch
Yeah,
Podcast. Another
we
live.
are back. So this is gonna be a little weird for me because I have a streaming on one of my incognito accounts. So you might see me looking at the
Yeah, me too. I got like several
chat.
things going on here. Can you see the
Okay.
ring light in my eyes?
No, no, you're not that
Okay.
close.
All right.
I intended to bring mine from work this week, but I didn't.
I got a big one too from Walmart.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. New iPhone too. Full
okay.
webcam.
Oh, you on that
Oh,
13? Have they gone past
no, no,
13?
no, 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 no. I do cheap SE, right? I do the SE because that I'm an Android person, right? My main
Ooh.
phone's Android. I keep an iPhone for work purposes only, and if I go somewhere
Uh-huh.
that's sketchy, then I
Mm-hmm.
take my iPhone because if
Okay.
that gets stolen, it is useless.
Okay. I
So,
understand. I
but yeah, that's
understand.
my backup phone. So the iPhone SE, it's got the same chip as the 13 and a little
Mm-hmm.
better camera, a little better battery life. Because I had the
Mm-hmm.
old SE and it was garbage.
Okay.
Battery wouldn't stay charged, but this one's pretty good. I like it.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's why.
Let's yeah,
So
I'm
what's going
just
on? You want me to start with my life, or you gonna start with
you
your
can go
life?
ahead. I'm old.
Oh,
So you just go right ahead.
well, basically this weekend, I spent the weekend in Columbia, South Carolina. Friend of mine's, she wants to relocate. She's looking to relocate to Columbia, so we go to Columbia. She's going to go to an open house. There's an open house that she wants to go to. They're showing this house,
Mm-hmm.
and she shows me the house, and we're going to the house, and I'm looking like this is a very nice upper middle class affluent neighborhood. All the houses are brick, and I'm not talking about brick facade, like brick all the
They're
way
real.
around. This
Yeah.
house is only like $217,000. I'm like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, I might need to move to South Carolina. Like the
Yeah.
house is this cheap. 'Cause I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, this house ain't gonna last that long at that price.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the house for the open house, and I'm like, hey, there's nobody here. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure we got the right date? It's the right date, right time. She's like, hold on. So I guess she hit the refresh. House
Mm-hmm.
under contract. Just like that.
Oh, dang. So y'all went
Yeah.
all that way.
Well, we had planned to look around and get familiar with the area and stuff like that. We
Mm-hmm.
went to what is it? Not is it Benedict College in
Yes.
South Carolina?
Heard of
Went to
that. Yeah.
Benedict College. They had downtown Columbia, South Carolina. They had like open markets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Great food down there. A lot of them were celebrating because if I'm not mistaken, the women won the national championship, I think. The women's
Probably.
team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm at the open market, and you know how your phone starts to go off. And
Mm-hmm.
my theory is when I tell you when my phone goes off, one or two things are happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody died, or somebody
Mm-hmm.
released some ignorance into the world. So
Oh
this
Lord.
time, uh, I heard, it was going off, and I'm like, and then I heard some people talking in the marketplace,
Uh-huh.
and it was the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback was
That's the one that
killed Saturday.
passed.
Yeah, Dwayne, he was
Yeah.
killed. Dwayne Haskins. He
Mm-hmm.
died after being hit by a dump truck. And I'm like, dump truck? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he tried to cross the interstate in South Florida because that's where they were down there practicing,
Yeah.
and that was really sad.
Yeah.
So,
Terrible.
every time that phone gets to going off, I'm like, oh boy. So we
Yeah.
got to go to worship today.
Okay. Okay.
So, my
How
friend
was
was like,
that
yeah,
experience?
we're going to so this is I call them millennial churches, right? Where the founders are all like younger than me.
Uh-huh.
So they're not Generation X. They're pretty much very young. So
Like
it's one of those churches
late
like the new
20s, early 30s.
yeah, late 20s,
Okay.
30s. The millennial, I call them millennial churches. So it's
Hmm.
this big thing down there. It's called Forward City Church in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
Lead pastor Travis and Dr. Jackie Green. And so
Okay.
according to the website, the church's mission is to engage and redefine culture for God.
Okay.
So
What
you
do you
know
think?
me, when I go to those churches, I'm like, oh boy. Like first of all, it's gonna be loud. There's gonna be lighting everywhere, fog machine letting off that pigment, that cookout smoke. Yeah, what's up?
I raising my hand for class. So, speaking as someone who actively has not been in a church since 2011 ish,
Uh-huh.
when did smoke machines and light shows become a
You
part
haven't
of?
been to a new church, have you? The new style church.
Even when I was going to church, I was going to an old school AME church
Well,
in
see, I
downtown.
typically go to like Kojic, Church of God in Christ,
Yeah.
Pentecostal Holiness. So I typically go to traditional churches, and
Okay.
I do go to some modern traditional churches where they're kind of modern, but millennial churches,
It's different.
it's a concert, like it's a concert type seating sound. You go in there, it's like concert sound. They got the subwoofers like blasting. You see the people with their little babies. They got the little headsets on the poor little babies' ears and stuff like that. So, but I'll say this: the church, it was good. It was good. It's not like most. It wasn't like most of the time you go to a church and you're like, I went to a concert, or I don't know whether I went to a concert or not. It's too many people there, but
Hmm.
the word was really good. And
Okay.
I mean, I saw like a lot of young people who were engaged in worship, and I say they got a good thing going on over there. I'm not used to it. I'm not used
Hmm.
to seeing the praise team with toboggans on and men with baseball caps in the church. I'm not used to that, but I'll say this. I think, you know, I really think they got something good going on right there. They're reaching people, they're reaching the youngs, and the church is full of young people and who are actively engaged in worship. So, hey, I got to give them to them. It might not be my thing,
Hmm.
that style of church might not be my thing, but I, you know, I think they have a good ministry. They're sincere. It
Hmm.
was a great church service. Um, if you don't mind a lot of things going on around you and a lot of people moving, a lot of cameras,
Okay.
lighting, and if I could sit through a New Edition concert, Charlie Wilson concert with all the music blaring, so I
Hmm.
can sit through, you know,
Okay.
and the praise team is really weird, right? It's like the praise team, like one of the leaders looks like a skateboard guy, real young, kind of sort of look like Chris Rock did when he played Pookie,
Yeah.
but he can sing, and I mean he really led worship service.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's like me getting used to, like, you know I'm, like I said, from traditional church to new church. It takes some getting used to for me, because like I said, I'm not used to seeing people with toboggans on in church, right? Or baseball caps in church.
Hmm.
But that's just me. I'm like, maybe I need to, because I remember Kirk Franklin, people like, oh, they tripped out about Kirk Franklin and
It
Stomp and
did.
all of that. So
I guess
maybe
you with you being Pentecostal, I can see that. That didn't really happen in the church I grew up in. They loved it.
they love Kirk Franklin. But like
Hmm.
I use that to make to say
But I
this.
understand your point.
Yeah. It maybe I'm thinking I need to like get out of that old style of thinking you know,
Mm,
and maybe embrace the new thing. Cause I enjoyed myself,
mm-hmm.
you know. Seats are comfortable. That's one thing about the new millennial church. They got some
They ain't got
comfortable
no wooden
padded seats.
planks.
Oh, no wooden planks. I
Ain't no
don't have to
wooden
sit on
pews.
a plank. Oh, the seating is good. And if you go to the right one, they may have a Starbucks in the vestibule, like some Starbucks coffee. Yeah. And of course, you got the Cash App and stuff like that. So, you know,
Okay, all right.
not they didn't have Starbucks, but I've been to the new
Something.
churches. They had like Starbucks and food, and I went to one that was in a remodeled mall. So after you left service, you walked out in the open mall, and they had a whole restaurant that served soul food, and it was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you haven't been to church since 2011
Yeah, nah, I left that alone.
into a form. Okay.
Yeah, I left it alone.
Yeah, you
So
need to go to one of the new churches.
I highly doubt my current beliefs would mesh well with any. I mean, you just to give you an idea. You see that behind me?
Uh huh.
That's a Jewish women's prayer book. You
Okay.
ain't gonna catch me. And there's a menorah on the other side of that. You're not gonna catch me in a church
Okay.
outside of a funeral.
Hey.
So yeah.
Hey.
So just in one sentence, I have very strong belief that the Creator told us how to worship Him,
Hmm.
and if it doesn't fit that, I leave it alone.
I
So
posted on Facebook. Like I checked in at church and I was like worshiping with the millennials today. And then I thought about it. They probably have a social media director who's
mhm.
probably saw that. And I was like, I hope they took that the right way. Like I didn't I
I'm
was
sure
not
they
throwing
did.
shade. Like I actually loved
Hmm.
service and I thought it was genuine, authentic worship. And I think they got something going and they're reaching.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
reaching the youngs and that's a good thing. So
Okay. Well, that's
I
good.
was sincere. I wasn't mocking.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I
I
saw
was
your
like,
update and I just smiled. I was like, oh, he in South Carolina. Then when we talked, I was like, ooh, he in South Carolina. I got to be nosy
right?
later.
Like spare the moment.
Yeah. I got to find out. We'll
I
talk
had
about
to
that
get
on
away
camera.
too. I was like, yeah, I'll go because I need to get out of Durham. I worked a lot of hours
Mhm.
last week. I need to decompress.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. Okay.
and plus, I got to the hotel and they give you a free appetizer because right
Hmm.
beside the hotel was a Texas Roadhouse and you get a free appetizer with an
Okay.
entree
Okay.
coupon. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, and you better wear them coupons.
right. So that was my weekend.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, my weekend is on the tail end of a very rough week. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but um, I'm partner at a tax firm, and it's the last week of tax season. You guys have until the 18th to get your taxes.
Oh, they extended
Your
it.
Yeah, it was just about a few days, but yeah, we have until that Monday because the 15th came in on a Friday, so they're giving us the weekend. So you guys have until the 18th to get your returns done, and so between getting people's returns done and just my general kind of thing, had a pretty busy weekend. I threw my one of my friends from work a baby shower. It's her second child, but her first little boy, and it was super adorable.
Oh,
So she just they had their first daughter. Well, their oldest child is a little girl. They had her, I want to say baby girl is probably 2. So she's like, she want to go ahead and get them out the way, knock them out back to back. So I didn't see. I was like, yeah, and she's been her and her husband have been really sweet to us since I moved up here. So I was like, yeah, let me do a little um baby shower. And like I was telling you before I got up here, I'm getting old. I can't eat like I've never been one to eat a whole lot of like
Hmm.
southern-ish food, but I did a little bit more than what I normally do because she's mixed. She's black, white, and Cherokee. And she was raised by her white side of the family, but she loves whenever I cook.
Hmm.
And I kept promising her, before you drop that baby, I'ma feed you. Like you gonna get a southern mama meal out of me. I promise you. And I had to deliver. I delivered. They were very happy. They was in there licking lips, and a lot of my pots were scraped clean in there. But I got to say, once your body get used to eating salads
Hmm.
and not so many cookies, cakes, and pies, I might eat something sweet twice a week. I might drink a ginger ale once a month. I'm not a. I was in there cooking smoked turkey. I had three smoked turkey legs because we had about 15, 20 people here. Three smoked turkey legs in it. Them things was huge. Okay, it was enough to cut the meat off like it was a ham. I don't do no ham. But we ate. But D, when I tell you, after the smoke had cleared, the itis came in on me hard.
Yeah, the itis hit different when you over 40, don't it?
Man, and it's like a low key ache to it. I'm saying, what is this? My
Ooh.
ankle's over here looking like Mother Emma's over there at church on Sunday. I be doggone.
Oh,
I had to take some magnesium, put it in my water, and lay down. I
yeah,
ain't got time for old folks remedies at the end of the day. I almost didn't
yeah.
make it. You saw my face.
Them
I,
ribs, and if I get ribs and cornbread or something, oh,
but see, that's the thing. I don't eat. I don't do all the pork, but it had to be the fat and the salt. It had to be the fat and the salt. So, honey, mm, I don't know. When I go back home this summer, I hope I'm not trying to eat like that. I'll take me a bag salad and be like, yeah, give me a piece of that steak. I'll be the bougie cousin. I don't care.
some
I
of the
ain't.
Islander women at work, they
Mm-hmm.
cook jerk chicken or curry chicken with rice and plantains, and
That's
oh
too
my god.
much. I can't do it every day. I can't. Like the way I feel. Like
They're
I
like, you're
don't
not
know.
gonna eat your food. I'm like, if I eat this at work, no work's getting done, right? I'm gonna be at my desk, sleep, with my
Mm-hmm.
hand on the mouse, slobbering on my keyboard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't I can't eat jerk chicken and go back to work. I can't eat
Mm-mm.
curry
And
and
go
go
back to
back to
work.
work with
Cause
plantains.
man, them Jones be so good. But even like today, I laid down. Usually my afternoon nap might be an hour and a half at the most. When I called you, I had been down for 3 hours.
Mm,
It was hard. But that's just what it is. But the other thing that was funny this week, we did the live stream last week.
right. And
And
we kind
it's
of
not
saw
a
that we got a little risque, a little loose
we did
with
just a
our
little, but
criticism.
the funny thing is, the first kind of round of lives we did, I was like, no, don't use my real name, blah 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 blah. But I went out on a limb that Sunday, no, that Monday after recording, I sent it to my dad, and I was like, we trying to, we working on our relationship. So I was like, let me go on and send this to my dad, and then a few hours later I sent it to my mom. Now my mom is completely she know me. She know me.
Hmm.
She, like I said, I growing up I was the little militant. So she won't surprise. Again, she didn't agree. Like I said in last week's broadcast, it's like I know my mom is completely not gonna agree with this.
Yeah,
But
you went there last week.
well, I'm gonna be there this week. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
I live there. I live there. Like D, it's so bad. I am not the person you want to take to any type of movie that might have any inkling of a caricature in it. Like I'm that friend. I'm the friend that tells you what's in the hot dogs and be like, well, forget your feelings. At least you now know. That's me.
Oh, you that person.
I'm that person. And so, and that's where I live. Like, I mean, I live where I live for a reason.
Hey, no, and that's what I love about you.
I just, so, but yeah, talking to him and, we had a conversation the next day. He was very complimentary. He said, I quote, remind him of the black anchor lady on PBS. I think he's talking about Gwen Ifill. I don't know if that's exactly
Mm.
who he was referring to.
Oh yeah, I know that lady. Yeah, she cracks me up.
I got to figure out who exactly he was talking to. And then after the lovely Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed, I think he went back. Yes, we're gonna talk about that too, right? I think we're gonna
Oh
touch on
yeah.
that too. Um, we were talking after that, and he was like, I got a feeling you got a little Ketanji in you too. Like you can hold your tongue, but that face, those eyes, that mouth gonna let us know
Yeah, I
one
was
way or the
you.
other.
You had me constantly asking, well, how do you really feel? Because like, jeez,
Yeah, I mean, but hey,
hey, it is what
that's
it is,
where I
you know.
am. That's where I am. But it was pretty cool, So it opened up just a different kind of view, and apparently my parents had a conversation, which is weird, but you know, they had a conversation about it. They're fine with it. I'm a good deal over 40. My career
Right.
is established. They're just like, okay. So yes, that's why you all know my real name now. Hold on, which way am I going? Yes, you all know my real name. Now last name and address, no, y'all not getting it. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-mm. But yeah, that was my week. That was my week. No problem. You wanna go on and jump in, or
Uh,
what you wanna do?
yeah, sure. So, I'm in South Carolina, and so I finally had some time to myself, and I
Hmm.
said, you know what? The new season of Atlanta's out. There's several episodes into it. I'm gonna download it and
Hmm.
watch it. Do you watch Atlanta? I think
Do
you would really like this season though, right? He he is Atlanta is first of all wonderfully written,
hmm.
wonderfully shot. He has his cinematography is just amazing, right? The storylines are
Okay.
deep, and he deals with race a lot.
Hmm.
In fact, it's nothing but race in the third season. And a lot of the episodes don't even
Let me
center
ask,
around.
what's the premise? Like, is
That's
it a
the thing.
drama? Is it a mockumentary?
It's a
Like, what's the
comedy.
thing?
It's a dark comedy. It's like Twin Peaks with black people. You
Okay.
really have to dig. I mean, it really it's really art house, right?
Hmm.
Very complicated. It's like every episode is like Get Out.
Okay.
You remember that movie Get Out?
Hmm. Hmm.
So this season he deals with blackface, he deals with reparations, and some of the episodes, none of the main characters are even in the episode. So a lot of the episodes are pretty much short films or it can be short little films and they stand on their own. They may tie back into the main storyline,
Hmm.
they may not. But some people describe it as weird, right? It's surreal. I call it surreal. A lot of people call it Afro surrealism. But you never watched it?
And the more I Google search, I can't say that I will. And it's
I
it's
mean,
just it's just a me thing. Um, it's produced by Donald Glover. Junior,
hmm And
the one
it's
who he left his black wife or mixed wife for a white woman.
I only knew about the one wife.
Uh-huh. I believe he did. I'm looking. Yeah. So personally, I probably won't. Goes against my rule. Uh, I have a
I
separate.
mean, he deals with very deep issues. I mean, it's this third season is really good, right?
Okay.
So he plays a 30 something Princeton dropout, and he
Mm-hmm.
turned manager of his cousin, who goes by the rap name Paperboy.
Okay.
So he's in one of the main characters, and then Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Alfred or Paperboy, that's his cousin, who's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's a up and coming rapper from a low income community who exhibits signs of depression
Mm-hmm.
and moral dilemma while navigating his newfound fame as a rapper, Paperboy, and also a very good actor, Lakeith Stanfield, who was actually in Get Out, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays Darius Epps. That's Paperboy's eccentric right hand man. He's
Okay.
in the drama. He's a first generation Nigerian American, and he's a gun enthusiast. And then we have Zazie Beetz, who plays Vanessa or Van. She plays Donald Glover's character's on again, off again girlfriend, and the
Mhm.
mother of their daughter, Lottie.
Okay.
And so in the show, Van's a former grade school science teacher, and
Okay.
she's biracial. She's an Afro German woman,
Mm.
and she's fluent in German.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, I think you would like it.
I mean, if I happen to go somewhere and so on, I'm not gonna not watch it.
Well, okay. So it's very good though. It's
Okay.
odd. Somebody call it oddball, but it's very art house and it's very
Okay.
complicated. So if you're looking for, it's like one of those books. If you're looking for an easy read, this
Mhm.
probably isn't the show for you
Okay.
because yeah, like I said, it's like Get Out or what's that? What was that movie? The other horror movie, Us.
Yes. Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, it's one of those where you're like, what?
Mhm.
So yeah, so
Mhm.
Twitter recently, well, they clowned him because for a magazine, he interviewed himself because he feels that most interviews that he does, they wind up consisting of the same questions.
Okay.
And in this interview where he's interviewing himself, he pretty much asked himself the same generic questions that any other interviewer would ask. So we're
Mhm.
like, you criticize people for asking the same questions, but you turn around and ask yourself the same generic questions that any interviewer would ask.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so Twitter
Irony.
clowned him for that. But I found it interesting. Um, in the interview, he asked himself at one point during the interview, Glover asked himself out of the blue whether he is afraid of black women.
Mhm.
And so he answers himself, "Why are you asking me that?" He responds. He says, "I
Mhm.
feel like your relationship to them has played a big part in your narrative." He answered. And
Mhm.
so he says, "I feel like you're using black women to question my blackness."
Mhm.
That was his answer to himself.
Mhm.
So, a lot of people on Twitter had a largely negative reaction to that line of questioning and
Mhm.
accused Glover of misogyny towards black women. And so, he's currently, you know,
In
married
the
to,
doghouse. Yeah, a non-white woman. Mhm.
yeah. And that's, for him to make that song, This Is America, and his show is blackety black.
Mhm.
And, so,
He does what a lot of he's following the pattern of a lot of black men in Hollywood. Um where they make their money from the black community. They put up a certain facade, um, a performative patriarchy, so to speak. Like last week, I mentioned that, and they understand that the majority of the money in the black community is when it comes to entertainment and things like that. It comes from black women, and so there's a level of pandering in his professional life that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, there's a set of code. It's a code that I created for myself, and I do my best to follow this code as much as I can. And the first code piece of this code, and I'm not going to go into all of it. I'm just going to go to my hardly maintained personal blog, called blackwomancode.blog, and my number one rule, I entitled it "Girl Hush." And so this is what it says: if a person or people in question do not support, protect, provide for, and invest in Black women in their real lives, be quiet when they need someone to support, protect, provide, and invest in them. And so I expand that to entertainment. If someone is harmed, but in their life they have proven that they do not value Black women, I'm quiet. Um, because there's no need to invest in a space where I'm not valued.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reciprocity in that. So that's why I said, it can be, and I know, some people have attempted to do things like this. I know we grew up during the time of boycotts. It was always a boycott. Seemed like 4 or 5 years ago, somebody was always boycotting somebody for something, and they wouldn't last long. And I realized at that time that the reason these boycotts don't last is because as a group we don't have a standard. And so since I'm not one to make anybody or tell anybody what their standard should be, but
Mm-hmm.
I can control my own. So that's where I am. So yeah, and again, I like the song "This Is America." The little things that kind of make it through my barriers that come from Mr. Glover. However, like I mentioned, like when I was Googling, I thought I'd heard something concerning him having a Black or a mixed race girlfriend up until about 2013, 2014. And then he turned around and married a white lady. So again, he had a come up woman who was not his preference, but it was someone that was okay for right then. And once he made his money, he married and invested in a woman who was not of his community, that he is obviously making money from because he puts out media like this. And then, he established something with that woman. So if something happens to him, those resources, again, like most Black men who do the same, are funneled out of the so-called Black community. So I don't, that's not, it's not, he's not someone that, while I'm not going to actively bash him, and I'm not trying to bash him now. Um, I just, like I said, if something that he has created is on when I am in a room or when I'm in a space, I'm not going to go on one of my tirades. I'm not going to click to this part of this podcast to say this is why you shouldn't. No, I just won't. And oh, that's interesting, and keep it moving.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I always wondered about him, which I don't have a problem with interracial dating or interracial marriage, but when I look at the body of work he's put out,
mhm,
versus being versus being married to a person who's not black. It always makes you like wonder, like,
But I mean, black men do it all the time. I mean, look at he's the prototype, or I won't say prototype, but look at black men in Hollywood and look at who they're married to. Compare that to their genre of work and go back and look and see different, like just look up quotes and, past things that they've said specifically concerning black women, and you'll see a pattern. You'll see a
mm.
pattern. There's not many Denzels and Morgan Freemans and oh, what's the other one? Maybe I did say it. Yeah, because I mean, even James Earl Jones, but at least James Earl Jones, he admitted to why he preferred white women.
And why is that?
He said something to the effect that there's something in black women's DNA that won't let go of our feeling of betrayal, that black men didn't fight for us, and that's why we ended up in slavery and taken over in here. He said, and initially when I heard that quote, when I heard that little interview, I was like, ugh. And so it took me a little while to process, and I was like, oh snap, he might
Did
be
he
on to
say it in his
something.
voice? Did he
I
say
mean,
it with his
it was his
voice?
regular voice. Don't do that. Let me see if I can find that while we're talking. But yeah, it was an interview. He was sitting on a couch with a white lady, and
And
it was
he felt free
something.
to share that too, right?
He put it out there.
I'm like, wow, okay.
So, and initially I was a little,
He did this before cancel culture, right?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you would never do that.
Um,
James Earl
Gosh,
Jones.
he was sitting, and like I said, it threw me. Oh, yeah, James Earl Jones explains his preference for white women. But I don't know. I mean, let me see if I can get to the part where he says, because this is 11th minute video. I don't want to miss the quote. Um, and I could be remembering it wrong. I mean, this might take the conversation in a whole different direction. I wasn't thinking we were going to go down this route. Yeah, it was from the 60s. He was with his partner, Julianne Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Yeah, it was something to that effect. I'm trying to see if somebody marked the minute. And like I said, we can come back to this. We can have that conversation. Um, but and I don't see. Hold on, wait. They got closed caption. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, so going back to Mr. Glover, and again, this isn't to disparage his talent. I'm sure he's very talented.
He's a very
Um,
funny comedian, rapper,
mhm,
writer, director. He's
mhm.
multi-talented.
I just choose not to support him, just like he chooses not to support black women in general. So
In general, you feel he does it? I mean, I think he supports the race. I mean,
look
he
again,
puts it
my
out there.
my rule,
Okay. Okay.
my rule.
Okay.
And that's my standard for every man.
Okay.
Doesn't matter the color of the man, in my opinion. Doesn't matter the color of the man or the race of the man. But if you're gonna take your time and energy to disparage, and you're not living the life that you claim that you um that's part of your vision, because men are visionary, right?
Hmm.
If we're gonna tap back into our scriptural, our biblical beliefs, they're visionary, and part of that vision is who is their family and their legacy. And if your legacy does not include black women, but yet and still you make your money from us, then
Hmm.
I can't respect that. I can't respect that in real life. And again, this will probably be the most anyone ever hears me go into, my particular position on this, but that's where I am.
Which is
So
sad because I really think you'd like this season.
it is sad, and it's, but I cannot bring myself.
You can't separate the man from his art.
Can't, absolutely not.
Okay,
I can't.
fair.
Let me see if I can find this quote, because I remember it was a scene where he was sitting on a couch. If I play this little piece of video, can you tell me whether or not you can hear it? Because I don't want to play it. I only want to play the part for the audience that actually says what I'm referring to.
Okay,
Did you hear anything just now?
I did not hear anything.
All right. So let me see if I can get to that piece. And if you want to continue, you can go ahead.
But yeah, season 3 deals with, if I were a white person and I watched the first 4 episodes of season 3,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be very uncomfortable
Okay.
because he really goes there.
Okay.
To me, he kind of reminds me of the Boondocks, only with live action people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's sort of like the Boondocks, and I think that's why I like it so much. Only he's a little more complicated
Mm-hmm.
and a little, yeah. Some of his episodes are so complicated that I have to go back and watch twice because that's the
Mm-hmm.
only. Because sometimes a lot of people have made that comment. They were like, "Oh, this is over my head." So, like I said, it's not a. If it was a book, it's not an easy read. And if you're
Okay.
looking for a straightforward plot or straightforward story structure, you're not going to get it with Donald Glover.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like I said, some of these episodes of season 3, the main
Mm-hmm.
characters are nowhere in it. It's like a complete different. It's like Black Twilight Zone. Like he picks a story,
Okay.
and you're like, it has absolutely nothing to do with the
Mm-hmm.
main plot line, or at least I don't think so. It may, like I said, I think we're only 4 episodes in, and it may tie back around, but it's definitely worth a watch. Like season 1 was okay,
Mm-hmm.
season 2 was really good, and
Mm-hmm.
season 3 to me is his best work yet. So there's only one more season after this, and that's it. Only 4 seasons, and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. I think I've gotten close to it. I don't want to. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. I think we should be okay. We got two
okay,
minutes. Okay. All right. So,
YouTube, they ban a lot of people.
yeah. So just for, just in case, this is just, this is fair use, I believe is the phrase that you're supposed to use.
Hmm.
And it's actually came from another YouTube channel, and I believe it's connected to ABC News. So,
And this is James Earl Jones on Why.
mhm,
Okay,
yeah.
Darth Vader. Is he going to do it in James Earl Jones' voice?
He's speaking in his own voice, sir. So obviously,
I saw him at a commencement speech at North Carolina A&T.
hmm okay.
Oh, he's young. Good God.
Yeah, this is
How
back
old
in the
is this?
60s. This is back in the 60s.
Oh, okay. Look at him.
Hmm All right, so you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's
All
see
right,
what.
fair use, fair use. We're just using this as a source of information just in case this becomes an issue later.
What is the... We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. It's still going up because you... Jim, do black men marry white women because of the nature of black women? I know in some of our earlier conversations you mentioned that the black women you've met have been uptight. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll answer the one question. What do I mean by uptight? Going toward a more militant attitude about their own identity.
Mm.
And in many ways are way ahead of the black man because I don't know why, but in many ways are replacing the black man. There's a whole, there's an almost unfeminine aspect of the black militant woman.
Do you find that some black women you've known out of your personal experience blame the black man for what happened to them in slavery even today?
Of course, if the black man, regardless of the causes, failed to protect her, left her in a position where she had to sell herself or bargain with her body and so on. Yes, she had there's a resentment about that, but it's very complex now. You see, I think in another generation you'll get a whole crop, a whole generation.
Jim, where does
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said,
Wow.
when I first heard this, it threw me.
Did he
Because,
say unfeminine? He
oh,
said
absolutely. But see, that's a larger conversation as well.
So he had Kevin Samuel's philosophy
Mhm.
before there was even a Kevin Samuels.
Yes, he took Kevin Samuel's philosophy, but the one thing,
No, he didn't take it. He
he
had
was the
that.
originator.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he was the originator. Really.
But the thing is, though, in that statement, while it irritates me that he describes black women as masculine, and that he describes black women as more militant and uptight. There's a couple of things in that I have issue with. In general, of any culture, the women carry the culture from generation to generation, regardless of what the culture is. Who was in, you celebrated Christmas, Easter, all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who made sure that was done at your house? Your mama or your daddy?
My mom.
Exactly. When it came to things like family reunion, learning who your aunties and uncles were, who your cousin, and I'm sure your dad had something to do with it, but for the most part, that was mom. So it bothers me that women in general, but specifically black women, are blamed in a negative way for carrying the culture and caring more about our culture. That's one thing I didn't like. And the whole being more masculine. But the positive thing I can take away from this, and it took me a little while because I listened to this for like over and over and over, because again, my respect for James Earl Jones went down seriously. It's like it was so much so that it just so happened that the two of the people, if my husband and I had a son,
Mm-hmm.
two of the people in our family, and my married name happens to be Jones. One is James, the other one is Earl, and that was seriously on our list. And I'm glad I didn't have that son and name him after this man. However, at least he took the blame. At least he admitted that black men did not protect. And
so he's basically saying y'all just can't get over it.
But this is the thing, it never stopped.
Right, kept going.
Had it stopped, if at some point collectively, or at least half collectively, there had been a moment where black men was like, hold up, wait, we're not gonna take this anymore. And consequence, you all need to stop treating them like this and do something about it. But no, that has never happened. That hasn't happened.
Well, congratulations, you ruined James Earl Jones for me.
No, I doubt that I've ruined James Earl Jones for that many people. And again, I mean, like I said, I'm the friend that tells you what's in hot dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Belafonte.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
And he talked trash about Eartha Kitt and Dorothy Dandridge. Like, really?
Yeah, Eartha Kitt. Though I liked Eartha Kitt.
What's his name? Who was that singer? Little short guy. He was a part of the Rat Pack.
Sammy Davis Jr.
He beat his black wife on their wedding day away from the wedding because he did not want to marry her. He wanted to marry a white woman. But they said you cannot marry that woman. You have to marry this one. And he beat his wife on her wedding day in the limo. So, like, really?
I think I read part of the autobiography of Eartha Kitt, and she had it rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
So there's a lot, you would be surprised how many men that, are considered one thing, and then I find out something concerning them and how they
Nicole,
yes,
leave Sidney Poitier alone, okay? Don't ruin that for me.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Sidney Poitier. He's in a generation now. Actually, it's not even a generational thing. I mean, it continues on to today. So, it's no telling.
Please don't ruin
telling.
Can I have let me have Sidney Poitier. Just Sidney Poitier. Let me look at you over there Googling right now.
No, actually, I'm looking up the Sammy Davis Jr. thing.
Well, I always thought of Sammy Davis Jr. as a tragic character because he's sitting there, like, to me, when you look at the Rat Pack, he's the most talented one of the whole Rat Pack. People talk about Sammy, what's his name? The old Blue Eyes, chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra. Everybody talks like Frank Sinatra was the most talented. I think Sammy Davis was the most talented, even more so than Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra had the nerve to comment on certain black artists saying they can't sing when I'm like, you can't sing. You croon all the time. Like, I never thought he was that great of a singer, Frank Sinatra. So you got Sammy who's trying to fit in. And I think a lot of the times in the Rat Pack, he was like the butt of the jokes. And I think that extended beyond Showtime, beyond the stage to real life. And I think he was hurt because I want to say Frank Sinatra didn't go to his wedding simply because he was black.
Why? And you know what I hear?
What's that?
I hear the story of a black man wanting approval from a white guy.
That's what I always thought about him.
Idol. And so again, why? Why do you care?
Yeah, I think he always sought the approval of Frank Sinatra.
So, just tying back up the Sammy Davis Jr. thing. Yeah, I found the video that I'd watched. He tried to strangle his first wife on their wedding day. And I'm not gonna show the video, but yeah, it was the first thing that came up. So, yeah. They're not the first, not going to be the last. And while it did bother me that James Earl Jones said that at least there was a lot of truth and admittance in his statement because he came with a reason why. And I can't say that he's wrong in his reason why. So, when you think about all of that money that because they were married outside of the community that didn't even get funneled into a family. Even if that family did, maybe, later, who knows what they would have done with that money. But however, at least that would have been, fewer black families who were left unprotected and unprovided for had he chosen a black woman. So, yeah, that is what it is. So, yeah, that's it.
Wow. So Also, I guess we'll segue into this story. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
another black man
Mm-hmm.
in an interracial relationship was
Mm-hmm.
stabbed to death
Mm-hmm.
by his white OnlyFans model girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So she's allegedly they're reporting that she allegedly stabbed, but we know she stabbed her boyfriend to death in their
Remember,
apartment.
we can't say that.
Oh, oh, okay.
She
Murked.
Mm,
Okay,
she
she red rummed her boyfriend.
okay. Red rum, red rum.
Red rummed her boyfriend in their luxury apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And so the influencer's name is Courtney Cleany, who she's
Mm-hmm.
25, known on her social media platform as Courtney Taylor, was detained and later taken to a mental institution after killing her 27-year-old boyfriend, Christian Umseli.
Mm-hmm.
The police said. Police responded to a 911 call from Cleany around 5 p.m. Sunday at their
Okay.
luxury apartment building in Miami, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And there they found the boyfriend had been red rummed once in the shoulder.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
assuming, yeah. And first responders transported him to to a nearby hospital, and
Mm-hmm.
he succumbed to his injuries.
Oh, okay.
And they said the officers said that the violence was caused by the domestic dispute. So a lot of the friends of the couple said that they've never witnessed him put hands on her, but they witnessed her put hands on him,
Mm-hmm.
and that they said they never thought that he would ever, that's wasn't in his character
Mm-hmm.
to put hands on her, but she was known to do that to him. And one of the neighbors said that he had an apartment across from them, and said he witnessed uh, the boyfriend beating her up. He said he couldn't tell whether it was closed fist, open fist, or whatnot, whatever. But he
Mm-hmm.
witnessed him allegedly beating her.
Okay.
So the problem came in, like the internet sleuths. Well, shout out to Paris Milan.
Mm-hmm.
She found some old tweets
Mm-hmm.
that he made about black women,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't very good. Like, for example, he put down, "I can't believe one of my friends thinks that I talk to black girls when I don't."
Mm-hmm.
Um, he also says the way black girls disgrace themselves on TV. And then he's like, "One of my friends, black girls are born knowing how to shake they
Mm.
ASS." Honestly, I don't know. Um, not my type. And so I
Mm-hmm.
saw these tweets, and the thing that gets me about that is how hypocritical that is, because you talk about how black women disgrace themselves on TV, yet your girlfriend is an OnlyFans model. Now, I haven't subscribed to her channel, but I would dare guess or venture to say anybody on OnlyFans that's getting paid money, I'm pretty sure they're shaking something and they're showing something, right? Like, you don't have an OnlyFans page, and people don't give you money for you just to talk to them or to send them a picture or post pictures of you fully clothed. I'm just saying, for him to tweet this and his girlfriend to be a popular OnlyFans
Mm-hmm.
model,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but I'm just saying, when I saw these tweets, that's the first thing I said to myself. I'm like, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna feel that way when she's on OnlyFans?
Hmm.
Basically, you're a virtual stripper, really, when you're on OnlyFans. Like, once again, in all fairness, I haven't been to her page. I don't know what she does on the page, but this is OnlyFans. Now, come on now, OnlyFans. So yeah, so and they got a GoFundMe for him. They live in a luxury apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they have a GoFundMe? Why they look well off to me, but yet they have a GoFundMe, and people are up in arms because she hasn't been arrested yet. And TMZ, I don't know where they get their videos from, but they must have people all over the place. TMZ posted a video.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they were apartment above hers, looking down with a cell phone video. She's sitting there covered in blood in a bra.
Mm. Mm.
As the police question her, and you could see the police dog sniffing around in the background. So I'm like, man, TMC is raw. I don't know. They got spies everywhere because they
Mm.
always getting a scoop like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was gruesome. I wouldn't say don't go look at it. It was a lot of blood, and but yeah, I feel bad it ended this way. Um, regardless of how I felt about his tweets or his thoughts about black women, I just hate to see anybody get red rum like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but she probably get away with it.
And she
So
probably will.
yeah, I mean, if she said it was domestic violence, who's to say? Unless they got video, the
That's
same
true.
person that made the video of the cops coming, in the apartment in the
Mm-hmm.
aftermath. But yeah. So I'm like, I tell everybody calm down. I mean, yeah, I don't see, what, it's a big deal because somebody lost their life. But
Mm-hmm.
come on, she's probably not going to pull any time for that because we don't know what happened in the room. He very well could have choked her out, and she red rummed him. We don't know. But one
Possibly.
thing I do know, when I see the tweets, for him to say that, and your girlfriend is an OnlyFans model, I just, yeah, I can't with that. I can't.
Mm.
So,
Okay. Well, there's a couple things I'm gonna say. So reverting back to my code,
hmm
I was just scanning through my very non-maintained blog, and there's a few things that apply to this situation that I have a rule for. Um, Rule number 7: listen to Maya. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first damn time. This young man, regardless of his unfortunate demise, showed me who he was in his tweets. Okay. He was not someone who just had a preference, but he had a hate. He had a something going on
a
concerning women like me.
disdain. Yeah.
Exactly. So his words, you know, let us know what his position is. Okay. So for that, you know, not going to engage. The other one, mm, my rule number 4. This is my anti-social justice warrior rule. It's called Have a Seat, Cape Tasha and Muletta. Don't cape, which means attempt to rescue, or mule, take the burden for anyone. If it's not in my own personal best interest, go take a bubble bath or something. Now, kind of in the middle of something, not going to take a bubble bath. But I tell you what I will do. I'm going to drink water and mind my business. Not going to trash the brother or the young man, I should say. And then just final rule on this. The same one I said before. Hush. It's not for me to say. This person did not support, provide for, and invest in Black women in their real life. So it's not my business. I'm good.
Oh.
This is not my
Oh
business.
wow.
And you know, from what I understand, his family, friends of the couple, you know, things like that, they are raising funds and, you know, they're pushing for his story to be out there, which is awesome. You know, again, that was his community. That is who he chose. And I'm not going to bash anyone who chooses to, you know, push this story as far as, you know, trying to seek justice for him. That is fine. But this man literally said that Black girls sliding out of their mother's womb come out shaking their ass.
And listening to this one. This one, he says football can be the time, venue for breast cancer, military, DV, DV awareness, but bringing up Black Lives Matter, it's not the time for me. LOL. Mm.
Okay.
And then another one. Once again, I'm tired of these Black girls in my government class. Yeah, I just wonder, how did he get there? Because this right here, this wasn't like you woke up one day and felt this way. This is how did he get there? How did he get so misguided?
You want my opinion?
Yeah. What do you? Where did he get off track?
Well, I can't even attempt to begin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me see how dark he was. It wasn't that dark.
I watched Cynthia G. Shout out to Cynthia
Uh-huh.
G. Love you, girl.
Mm-hmm. I like Cynthia G. She's hilarious.
She has this philosophy, and you probably heard her say this: black male degeneracy. Have you heard her ever go into that topic?
That one I haven't heard.
Okay, well, I want to say it was like a rolling theme. Probably like the last couple of years, she's kind of veered off of that just a smidgen lately. But if you go back and watch some of her earlier videos, she explains it. And I'm not going to even attempt to explain what she means by that. I believe if the girl's not a psych major, she's got to be in law school. This girl, she's, in my opinion, she's brilliant. Like, I love her. So, I suggest that you go watch. You know, if you want to know where it started, go there. But it's it's more than I care to. The more than I'm going to even attempt to explain. I don't know this young man personally, but it goes beyond just this one individual. It's a cultural issue within the Black community, if you even want to call it Black community, because like I've said before, I don't believe there is one.
Did you see the video? There's a lady, after it happened, evidently the girlfriend went to a bar and was drinking, and a Black woman recognized her
Mm-hmm.
and went live and confronted her about killing her boyfriend.
And that doesn't make sense to me. Because if that black man was alive, more than likely, if that had happened to a black woman, where a black woman was killed by
Right.
her partner, he probably would have said she deserved it. Reciprocity, ladies.
Well, in all fairness,
Reciprocity.
this she might have done that before the tweet surfaced.
I don't care.
Okay.
Like, consider the culture as a whole. It's basically at the point where you have to assume that a black man is not one for protecting black women, and you got to go and prove that he is. I think it's basically at that point. You can't assume loyalty or even some kind of alignment. You just can't. I'm at that point, personally. I got to figure out, what's going on with this one. And I hate that because I sound like, well, what happened before the camera started rolling? I hate to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be one of those people, but apparently that comes with the territory.
I hate it for him.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation.
It is sad. It's very sad. It didn't have to end that way.
It shouldn't have ended that way. So,
but you bring your own words on yourself sometimes.
I still can't get over that though.
What?
How he's gonna feel that way about black women?
You'd be surprised, D.
And your girlfriend is on OnlyFans.
You'd be surprised. Walking contradictions, child. You'd be surprised. Mm-hmm.
I wonder how is she gonna lose any followers over this? You think? Probably not.
I'm not familiar with OnlyFans. That's not. I mean, I've heard of it, of course. I live in a box, but I've never Googled OnlyFans login ever in my life.
So basically, it's just one of those sites where amateurs. I mean, OnlyFans doesn't have to be about that. Like, you could be a video gamer, or you could have any little niche club that you're good at or that you post videos about, and people who are fans of your channel will send you money through OnlyFans, right?
Sounds like
so. It could be anything. It doesn't necessarily. You don't necessarily have to show anything.
Sounds like YouTube.
Pretty much, it's like YouTube, but to me, it's more direct, right? You can actually you do a subscription based thing.
Oh, so like a monthly or weekly subscription?
Yeah, it's basically a monthly. So you pay a subscription.
Okay.
And you can do it like a subscription model. So people who are truly fans, and a lot of people got channels on YouTube and only a matching OnlyFans page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people, like a lot of the people that I see do videos about them living on a sailboat or sailing, they have an OnlyFans page. And a lot of time they put extra content up there for the fans. Like they'll put their video ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see videos.
Like
yeah, pretty much it's Patreon. Most people have a Patreon page and an OnlyFans page. Now, OnlyFans is popular because the majority, I feel, of the people up there are, doing something strange for that piece of change.
Okay.
If you get my drill.
Yeah.
Right. They showing a little something and shaking a little something.
They can see my pinky toe. I heard feet were back in style now.
Yeah, there's a lot of feet for OnlyFans. Not that I've seen, from what I've heard, but people have told me. I don't be on OnlyFans like that.
Look, when the swelling in my ankles go down, maybe I throw my heels up there, get a fresh petty,
and put them out there see what you can get.
Hey there, if it'll cover my gas going back and
Some
forth to
people
Walmart,
some
I'll
people
take it.
make a lot of money on OnlyFans, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of has-been stars,
Mm-hmm.
they got OnlyFans pages, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Okay.
if you were in a '90s sitcom and you're relatively cute, you're not them
Mm-hmm.
checks aren't coming in anymore. Put up
Mm-hmm.
a little OnlyFans page.
Okay. Yeah, the main star of your TV show found out he was a child molester later. That'll cut off
Oh
your
wow. Well,
syndication
I
stream.
haven't seen okay, look, I haven't seen Temple Flood though on OnlyFans, so don't do that.
Ah! Oh, I should have said that. That was terrible. Okay, never mind. But
So
yeah,
but
so
the daughter from the Bernie Mac show has a OnlyFans page.
no. Which
Yeah.
one? The big
The
the
chocolate one.
it please
Uh
tell me she not doing no.
no. She doesn't do nudity. Not that once again, not that I've been on the page
Oh,
or logged in or anything. But
she's
she
so
does,
pretty.
yeah, she does like bikinis and stuff like that, but she doesn't do full nude. Not that I've heard. Not that I've heard.
No.
You know,
Hmm.
and hers was
It's
free for a
sad.
little while, and then she went to a subscription based model. Not that
I
I've been
mean,
on the page, just from what I've heard.
I would imagine that's probably how they get subscribers.
Yeah,
Little free stuff and then yeah, but
yeah, and that, it's like little crack. I'm gonna give you a little something, something free, and then
mm-hmm.
all of a sudden they flip that switch and like, okay, for
Yeah.
$3.99 a month.
Hmm. Maybe I'll get me OnlyFans. Y'all can
And
see me
you can do
Chopwood and
different tiers too, right? Like there's the first tier, the $3.99 folk. Say you only get access to pictures,
we need to get
you
an
know.
ad from
The
OnlyFans.
ten
We need to
ninety
get
nine, yeah.
sponsored.
10.99 people, you get videos. Not that I've been on the site,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
from what I
Uh-huh.
heard.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So getting back to the
Uh-huh.
conversation, we got one more
Okay.
interracial dating. I'm a big fan of Keenan Thompson from SNL and from his Nickelodeon days. Um, so him and his wife,
I saw he was
Christina
getting a divorce.
Evangeline, huh?
I saw he was getting a divorce.
Yep. They were together for more than a decade too, and they're quietly calling it quits. They said it's very amicable. They're successfully co-parenting. They just grew apart, right? So he's in LA a lot, working on his show. She's in New York. So
No, I didn't realize he had him a non-black woman too. Hmm.
right, I thought he had married a black woman, but
I did too.
evidently not.
But see, this is the other piece, and I don't know if I'm reaching.
Hmm.
Um, and it could be because I don't pay attention to media, just mass media in general. But and you can let me know if you think that I'm reaching. Do you think that these men whose main money comes from black spaces, black entertainment, do you think that they tend to hide their non-white spouses in an effort to keep or to kind of prevent people who may have a similar mindset from like not purchasing or going to be entertained by them?
So you saying, do I think they hide them from ridicule or
Hmm.
hide them to keep, from
Both.
losing fan base, or both?
Both, because the ridicule, I mean, you know how black folks are. The ridicule gonna come before you
Yeah,
gonna get. It's gonna be
I
ridicule.
honestly do. I honestly do think that they
Okay.
purposely hide, because of ridicule. I think that John Legend
Hmm.
um, and to a certain extent, the wife may want to chill out and
Cause
don't
she
want to
trying to
be in the
protect that
limelight.
money.
So, yeah, I do think
Hmm.
to a certain extent
You know.
they do protect them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you really don't really hear that much about Donald Glover's wife.
Mm-mm.
So yeah,
Okay. Because it's almost this facade of singleness, especially the ones that are more handsome that
right.
I see, and I think that's so that their black female fans will continue
Fan base, they
to
don't. Yeah,
support them. Yeah,
because what was his name? Tay Diggs, or
that. Mm.
yeah, he's
Yes,
problematic.
Mr. Yes, he
That
is.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. They do come off as being single, and then
Mm-hmm.
whenever the article comes up or they're at a black tie event or
Mm-hmm.
something, you're like, okay, that's right,
Mm-hmm.
they are. You forget.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, that's right, they are married to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A non-black preference.
yeah. And once again, to anybody maybe watching, we do not have a problem with interracial dating. We are not.
I have an issue. I'll say this. I have an issue when you talk black and marrying white. That's my specific issue.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
That is my issue. So, don't
All
do
right,
that.
so I guess we're gonna move on to updates.
Okay.
A section of updates. Um, so we'll start with last week we talked about, let's see, student loans,
Mm-hmm.
and that it was um, time to pay up again. And Uncle Joe has extended it all the way to August. He's given us 4 months. And I told you my theory is that as long as Uncle Joe is in office,
Mm-hmm.
we're never going to have to pay back those student loans. And he's going to continue to kick that can down the road as long as he can.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
And when, yeah, and when the federal and when the Federal Reserve hike interest rates and start hyping interest rates, I really think that he's really going to try to continue to kick it down the road, especially if it doesn't do anything to reduce inflation, right? So it's really bad.
Yeah,
So
it is. They're talking
yeah,
about another recession.
talking about another recession.
Mm-hmm.
And how high do you think mortgage rates will go up?
And don't get me to line. I have no idea. I just know I'm not in the market for one right now.
I told somebody they're almost at 5%.
Mm-hmm.
And I told somebody if the standard house in Durham to be competitive, you have to pay $250,000 to $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Once the interest rate gets above 5%,
Mm-hmm.
then I can no longer afford the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I'm a single person with probably a 780, 760 credit score.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of credit card debt. My car is paid off, and I make roughly about $72,000 a year. But once it gets above 5%, I cannot afford that mortgage by myself. And I saw on television a banker. They were interviewing a banker, and she said the sweet spot is 5.7%. She was like, once it gets to that point, she was like, most people can no longer afford, regular people can no longer afford housing at the current rate of the market. So $300,000 at 5.7 or 6%, she was like, it's no longer attainable. You can't do it. And I agree, because I did the math, and I was like, once the mortgage gets above $2,000, I mean, I could do it, but I'm gonna be house poor. I'm gonna be house poor.
You do that, and any little thing come up. You just roof. Something happened with the roof. Okay, either the roof gonna get fixed or mortgage ain't gonna get paid.
Pretty much
half and half. Could be anything, and that's not even including insurance.
Yeah, that's just straight mortgage.
Regular bills. That's just mortgage. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's coming to a point now where one of my cousins is circling back around to something I suggested that we do some years back. Uh get a really big house, 3, 4 people go in on a mortgage, and we split the mortgage that way.
You're not the first person to mention that to me. I
Hmm.
have a friend that has that same idea, a
A
community
McMansion,
living,
get a
yeah, where you come
huge.
together and
Mhm.
everybody pays the mortgage.
Yep.
Um, First of all, you're gonna have to really like these people to share
Hmm.
a house with them.
You see, it's an idea. I would only do it, of course, consider that with certain people. Um,
Hmm.
but it's getting to that point now where I think it should be a serious consideration. But people have their preferences. They want their space. I understand that, but considering the way things are going, it might
It's
be
probably
something.
quite possibly that's what you're gonna have to do because, like I said, I'm only comfortable making a $1,700 a month mortgage payment by
Hmm.
myself. That's the max. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the max I want to make.
Hmm.
Once interest rates get to 5.7,
Hmm.
you're over 2 grand.
Yes.
Especially when you didn't, we typically don't put that much down.
Mm-mm.
So, but
Mm-mm.
even if you do that, and like I told you, this market around here is crazy.
Yeah.
You go to an open house, and as you're at the open house,
Hmm.
the house goes from available to under contract,
Hmm.
and you're sitting there looking at each other like
Yeah.
we just drove all the way out here
For nothing.
for nothing. Didn't even get to make a bid.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And like I said, it's like that everywhere. It's like that out here in Arizona, even in
in
the little
Arizona,
small rural towns. But again, it's a lot of the market is very, very pricey. Very, very pricey. $250,000 for a 3 bedroom house.
woo,
Like, really? Don't get me started on modular homes or trailers. Like, huh?
they're expensive too.
180, 230. Excuse me? No. Mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope. So, yeah, it's definitely an issue. But, you just kind of got to navigate that. What's our other update?
So Will Smith, 10 years
Mm-hmm.
banned for smacking Chris Rock. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so he can't go to the Oscars for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But he resigned from the Academy anyway. Why would he go?
yeah, he resigned. I think the Academy was probably like, you think they got a little pissed that they probably were like, whatever, we accept, but he can't go to the Oscars for a whole decade. You think that's a punishment though?
No.
He's already won an Oscar, so he's got one of his life goals. He won the
Mm-hmm.
Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
He probably don't even want. Yeah, I don't think that's much of a punishment for that.
Mm.
But
But I
I guess
mean,
what can they do, right? It's not too much you can do to a multimillionaire.
and Chris isn't going to sue. He's milking it for publicity. He's the new safe Negro. So, you know, Will Smith basically solidified his career, Chris's career, by slapping him.
Pretty
Because what
much.
what was
Chris
Chris really
Rock's
doing?
tickets. Chris Rock's tickets went to like $400+
Hmm.
after the smack heard around the world, and I'm like, that is.
Hmm.
He kicked some hecklers out of a recent show that were like F Jada, F Will, and he kicked them out. So
Because it,
he told people like, I know y'all want me to talk about it, but he told them he was still processing.
but I mean, he's also playing the glorious Negro role. So of course he's gonna come out.
Oh,
He's the good natured, not gonna take revenge. Violence isn't his thing,
is
type
an
of deal.
answer.
So yeah, he's playing that role, and I it is that's what he's chosen to do, and that's on him. My stance has not changed concerning him at all. or this entire situation. I am irritated with Miss Jada.
Oh yeah, I saw that article where she
All she had to do
said
was be
that
quiet.
he kind of sort of overreacted. I was like, you think?
All she had to do was be quiet. That's all
And you
she had to do.
and the
It's just
manosphere went crazy. And then
all
they're like,
she had to
they
do
were
was
like,
hush.
Jada throws Will under the bus. That's all I saw. Jada, see, everybody's saying, see, black men, this is why you don't deal with women who don't love you. And that was all over the manosphere. So yeah, I don't know what I would just be quiet. I'm like you. Just
Mhm,
be quiet, let this blow
quiet.
over,
Mhm.
stop making, but I guess they feel they need to, I don't know, admit they're wrong and just, placate the people.
You know, uh, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave Mrs. Mrs. Smith alone.
I don't think she in love with him. Do you think she's in love with him?
At this point in their marriage, how long have they been married?
Willow and them are
Because marriages go through
over
phases.
20.
Over
Over
20.
20.
Mm, I don't know. Because for all we know, they might be sitting back writing this whole script out. Oh, what we gonna do? What we gonna say this week to make the news?
I'm looking for a red table talk with all three of them sitting down.
But
Chris,
this is the
Will.
thing. They might all be lying. For all we know, Chris, Will, and Jada had a meeting 3 months ago. So this is the S storm we about to set off. Because Chris's career is in the toilet. I ain't heard nothing from Chris Rock in decades since Madagascar. Jada dealing with the whole, I hadn't really heard much from her since what, Girls Trip? And I did not watch that
That's
movie.
what DL Hughley said. He said, yeah, he was like, first of all, Jada, forget that red table talk. GL said, we're going to be sitting at the kitchen table. We're going to have a kitchen table talk. He said, because he was like, they're not going to make Jason Lyric 2 and
Mm-mm.
set it off. It's already done. He said, we're eating good off of movies that I made.
Mhm.
So he was like, we're going to have to did that. So
It ain't no telling. They probably all plotted this stuff together.
you think they did?
I'm not gonna sit here and create a whole conspiracy theory. Yeah, they was da 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 da, slap and all of this stuff. No, I'm not gonna go that far. However, if 20 years down the line we retired, I'm on a beach somewhere, you doing your
On my
camping
sailboat.
across, yeah, you doing your whatever, and something comes up on the news feed, hologram news. Beep, 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 beep. The slap heard around the world 20 years ago. We found a letter written by Willow, because she liked to write letters, that
Yeah.
said, yeah, my mom, dad, and Uncle Chris was sitting around plotting that whole thing just to, get their names back in y'all mouth. I'm like, who knows?
I honestly, in my heart of hearts, don't think they plotted that out. I think that was spare the moment. Will got in his feelings and was like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I had enough of y'all joking me,
Possibly.
calling me all kinds of simp. Will
Possibly.
like, I'm gonna show you the simp, and went up there and
Mm-hmm.
smacked him.
Yeah, possibly. But again, it could be a 2%, a 1.73% chance that 20 years from now, yeah, it was a plot. Who knows? I have my opinions
Mm,
about their marriage, specifically about Mrs. Smith. Um, but I don't have any proof, and my opinions just come from observations and things that I've noticed.
and
While they were
August
married.
is making music again.
Of course he is. Like, why wouldn't he? And I'm sure he gonna have her name all up. I mean, he was trying to kiss up on Queen Latifah, and she had
Mm.
a whole marriage with a whole woman. Opportunist. So everybody playing their role.
The new song is called, let's see. The Root says August Alsina seemingly addresses the entanglement with Jada Pickett Smith in a new song. Following the recent incident, which should only be referred to at this point as the slap, singer August Alsina seems to have thrown his sneaky link handbook right out of the window in a new song titled Shake the World. Mm.
It sound like something else I ain't gonna listen to. Okay.
What was the lyric? I'm trying to find the lyric.
Child, that little boy. Mm-mm-mm. Do 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 do
Yeah.
do.
Well, like you said, Will'll be all right. His
Yeah,
career's
he'll
not
be
going to
fine.
suffer that much. They'll be all right. He'll do his decade, come back when he's 63 years old.
Who knows? He might dump Jada in the meantime and move on.
I I really don't think they love each other. I really think they should do something else and just move on at this point. But I could be wrong.
But I mean, those how many marriages
Oh, that's right.
they
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 probably
they
didn't have
weren't
a
different.
prenup. They probably didn't
Mhm.
have a prenup, and they're in California, so
And they're obviously not discreet.
and it's community property, so
Hmm.
half.
They don't know what discretion is if it slapped them in the face. So you know that is what it
Hmm.
is.
And on a closing note, I'm gonna let you finish with Ketanji Brown
Oh,
claim.
actually, I want to touch on something else before.
Oh, take it away.
You really have. I mean, Kataji Brown. That's just straight up celebration. I'm just tickled about that. But
And Joe Biden took to the press and criticized. He said I expected her to get some hard questions thrown at her and a lot of pressure and a lot of mean spiritedness. But he was like, but basically, he was like, there was no excuse for the line of questioning that she got. And he like, it made no sense and that it was hateful and horrible. He really went in on how she was treated during her confirmation hearing. And I was like, go ahead, Uncle Joe. And he let it be known in press conference he really didn't appreciate that. And Nicole is not moved. She's not swayed.
no, um, I'm gonna leave it at he has a history. While I
Uncle
do
Joe?
appreciate, yes, while I do appreciate his recent attempts at redemption, which is fine, if you want to see it as redemption. Uh, should she have been confirmed? Absolutely. It's been beyond time for a black woman to be in that position. Um, do I think that those questioning her were too harsh? Absolutely. I also can't forget how he behaved during Clarence Thomas's confirmation and Anita Hill.
Hmm.
So he has a history as well. Now, it might have sounded a little bit softer, but he got some with him. He got some with him. So it I won't go with the 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I say 8 in one hand and 4 in the other. Joe getting old,
He is.
getting
I
close to meeting his maker.
Yeah, he already said he's only a one-term president. Like he's to bridge the gap,
Hmm.
and which worries me because I'm like, who's coming after you?
Well, and I mean, plus it's long been recognized that it's black women that got him into office. There's also black women that got very key players, that support him into office and prevented quite a few things, especially in Georgia.
Hmm.
With that, was it a gubernatorial race or some sort of Senate race or something?
Abrams,
Yes, yes,
she came through in a
yeah,
big way.
very much so, very much so. So, I'm again, like I said last time, two sides of the same coin. Yes, um, one is we got to defend, these groups of people because they don't know no better. You got to protect them. And then the other one is, the bootstrap crew. So same thing. Um, yeah. So I appreciate the remarks. Thank you, Joe.
I'm glad she's in there because we got that court. That court, I feel for the future because there's still like a super majority
Hmm.
conservatives in that court,
And I blame the
and
Democrats for that.
to a certain extent, yeah,
They're too soft. Democrats need to go as
they
hard.
are. So
They need to go as hard as Republicans do.
yeah,
If you know your enemy is going hard, why are you gonna try to reason with them? Oh, that's not fair. Boo boo, they not playing fair. What you playing fair for?
that's why I told my friend this weekend. I said, I hope you do move to South Carolina. I said, bring some friends with you because votes against Mitch McConnell, not Mitch McConnell, but Lindsey Graham, is a vote for freedom. But them two go hard. So I'll give them that much. Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, they go hard, and they're ruthless, and they have no shame at all. Period. And I think
And they from
Democrats should
that
go.
chain.
They should
They in
go
there.
as hard as them two go. And
Mhm. And that's part of the reason why. While yes, Pelosi can get on my nerves sometimes, but I got to give that woman credit. First of all, sis is in her mid 80s, and she in her mid 80s, and she can move in them heels like that. Every time you see Nancy Pelosi, she got on like some 4 to 6 inch heels.
yeah, she do take it.
Man, that's the first thing. The second thing is the Republicans talk trash about Pelosi because she go just as hard against them as they come for her. That's why she's still in there. No, I don't agree with everything she do. I don't agree with a lot of stuff she do, but guess what? Ain't nobody moved her out though.
Well, you know
She there.
who been oddly quiet that I never hear about anymore?
Who?
Auntie Maxine.
Oh yeah, you're right. I haven't heard much from
She
her.
been really quiet.
I hope she's okay. Yeah. Uh Nancy Pelosi, 82 years old.
I can believe it. She's been there a minute. Yeah,
Mm, mm, mm.
I
What's
just
going on with Auntie
and
Maxine?
The Supreme Court are going to hear some cases as far as affirmative action and voting redistricting, and so some very important cases are coming up
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to vote on these gerrymandered lines.
Good. They need to.
And where is it, in Alabama?
Mm-hmm. It's all over the place. I mean, look at North Carolina.
So
That's pretty bad.
right,
It's very bad.
and how they can justify leaving them the way they are. Because I mean, if you look at it, right, the technology that we have, you could take a state and say, we're going to divide this state up. We're going to take the total number of black, white, Latino, Asian, whatever, and we're going to draw these lines and try to get an equal number or something, or a more democratic way of drawing lines. And you would think that people who say they're patriots and they tout democracy, you would think that they would sit down and come up with a way to draw these lines where it is fair to everybody, that everybody is represented. But no, it doesn't happen.
Patriotism is a spectrum. There's so many different slants to patriotism. No, seriously.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
have the
You're right.
religious patriots. A lot of times, they're in that camp of America was founded by God. Like the whole thing came from God and is spoken about in the Bible. And it's meant to be a white man's nation and, all of this other stuff. Then you have what I call black folks patriotism. We here because our family is here and we don't really fit in anywhere else. So, it's based more on civic responsibility than, an affinity for the country itself. And, then there's sprinkles of things in the middle. There's yeah, I'm really not trying to make light of other things that have, that are said to be on a spectrum, but the more that I pay attention to politics, it's a spectrum.
Anytime you look at a map where they draw voting lines and it's a crescent to lump all the black people into one voting block, that's just not fair. And how any judge can look at that and let that ride.
But again, these judges are placed, bought, and paid for. Like I said last week, you have to buy your politicians. Same thing goes for the judicial system. Those judges are appointed, they're voted in by voting blocks. And that's something that I can say that the Republicans have on lock. They got it on lock. They put those people in there, so you know how they're gonna vote. And I know we had this conversation early, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, but after you said it, I've gotten to thinking about it. Certain elections, I feel like I agree with you that for certain elections, the district
should be federal.
Should be federal. Absolutely. They should be federal. And, shoot, make a grid. Or just make it one vote per person. And just whoever the popular vote is going to win it.
They're never going to go to popular vote because
they're not. But
they're going to like because then California, Texas, and states with big populations pretty much can.
But again, if you still keep the whole, the popular and that, oh gosh, what is the structure of it?
Electoral college.
Yes, if you keep that, make the districts federal. Have the federal government go in and draw the districts.
Draw the federal, at least for the federal lines, because I saw some of these lines that they drew, and they purposely drew them that way so that black people are in one super clump.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
But as my mom would say, and my mother, bless her, she's such a sweet person, and she's much more level-headed than her strong-willed daughter.
Oh, wow.
It's also a situation. It's also a situation where if you want to change things, you got to change it. She would say you have to change it from the inside, and I have to agree. That who's on these boards that determine the districts? How much influence is there? by people other than who are trying to serve their own interests. And so, I get that. I respect that position as well. I'm just not as patient.
And I think it's sad if you're a judge or a lawyer, you should be impartial. I mean,
Bye. No. I mean,
justice
they
is
running on
blind.
if you are running on the fact that you are conservative versus liberal, you are inherently
Bias.
not impartial. Yes, you're biased.
Right. And that's why it's sad. I told you, one should not be able to look at the Supreme Court and say, this person's conservative, this person's liberal. It shouldn't be able to say that. There should be no such thing as a conservative or liberal. It's like it should be applying the law equally and fairly to everybody.
Mm-hmm. But it's not.
But
And
it's not.
that's why I respect. I know I can't say I'm not in the party anymore, but I got to say I respect the Republicans because they deal with what is. Democrats deal with what should.
Well, hopefully they can maintain their majority, because if they can't, oh boy.
Yeah, this
Boy,
next
oh boy.
election gonna be a pretty tough. It's gonna be a tough one. Yep, it's gonna be a tough one.
So
It's gonna
no
be
update on Clarence Thomas, but things aren't looking good for Trump. His daughter, they was in a deposition for 8 hours. So, yeah, and Jared Kushner's son was in a deposition, and the evidence is mounting against Trump.
Mhm.
Some of the Proud Boys have turned state evidence and stuff like that. Pretty much, he did it, right? There's enough evidence really to convict, but we know how that goes. They probably won't, even though they have the evidence.
I hate to bring this up, and I know it's completely different, two different arenas.
By all means.
And I saw this in a meme more than once, and I hate that it's relevant to the conversation, so that I have to quote it. But Mr. Smith got more time than the president, who obviously provoked an insurrection while in office.
Yeah.
And it just makes no sense to me. And something else too about this whole thing with Jade and Will. And we'll have a whole femicide discussion. Will slap Chris. Where was all this vitriol with Breonna Taylor? And
Good
San
question.
Fran.
Good question.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. But we're getting on 2 hours, and according to my daddy, we talked too long last time.
Oh yeah.
He suggested we get it down to 30 minutes. Sir, Dad, that ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry. At the most, we might
I love your dad.
hour and a half. You would.
I like your dad.
No, you don't. No, you do not. No, you do
I
not.
would like.
You. Whoo,
Okay.
D, I'm telling you. My father. Oh goodness. I got an outline for the book I'm gonna write about my father. I will not
Oh
publish
wow.
it until he is gone.
All right,
My
that's
father
right.
is
It's
the
it's 12:41 a.m.
for you, it's 9:41 p.m. for me, honey.
I know, right?
Honey, but my tea is gone. I'm gonna drink me some more magnesium. My ankles is going down. I done made it from the motherboard to just a regular pew member. I'm on the usher
I
board now. My ankle done gone down to usher board status.
heard that.
Ooh, child. I'm gonna be wearing flats tomorrow with the grip on the bottom.
I know one thing. The later it gets, boy, the brighter this ring light gets.
Ooh, you got work tomorrow, don't you? You gotta. What time you
I
gotta
do.
get up?
I'm about to turn it off. Turn the ring light off. Go to the regular lights. 'Cause this thing has to go.
Mm,
That joker bright. There we go. Ooh, that's better.
okay. It must be getting cold. My heat came on.
Yeah, it's getting cold here too. You notice I put on a
Mm-hmm.
little jacket
Yeah.
because all of a sudden it was warm in here, and then it got temperature dropped.
Let me see. Yeah, we in the 40s. Okay, the devil. Okay. Okay. I have a book, but I'm not going to get into it. I will just kind of touch on it very quickly. Have not
Okay.
received it. But this book is by Ralph Richard Banks, and it is entitled "Is Marriage for White People? How the African American Marriage Decline Affects Everyone." So once I've had a chance, once I receive it and I get a chance to get in there and look around and see what it's talking about, then yeah, we will have a little discussion about it. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Hmm.
called
Don't let the title,
Is
yeah,
marriage
it's
for
meant
what?
for white people.
I might have
Don't
to.
let the
I might have.
title don't let the title like throw you off. I actually think, from some of our discussions, especially considering things in recent years, I think you'll agree with it, honestly. But
How
we'll see.
long is it?
It's 306 pages.
Oh,
Print.
okay, so it's about a regular book. I can probably do that in a couple of about two
Hmm.
days.
I mean, I can read a little snip. I can read a little bit of the review. Um, so it says a distinguished Stanford law professor examines the steep decline in marriage rates among the African American middle class and offers a paradoxical, nearly incendiary solution.
Wow.
Black women are 3 times as likely as white women to never marry. The sobering statistic reflects a broader reality. African Americans are the most unmarried people in our nation, and contrary to public perception, the racial gap in marriage is not confined to women or the poor. Black men, particularly the most successful and affluent, are less likely to marry than their white counterparts. College educated black women are twice as likely as her white peers never to marry. So that was just the first paragraph of the overview of the book. Um, and the reason this came back up, there was an article written recently. I forget where. I got to start writing these things down or at least screenshotting it. But this book has been out. It was published back in 2011, September 1st, 2011. But with this resurgence, especially in BWE spaces, talking where there's a lot of discussion of divestment and interracial dating and whatnot, this book has come back into the forefront. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of tiptoe it
I
in
might
and see
read
what
it
they're talking
too.
about.
I
I
might
think you should.
download it. I
I
might
think you
download it
should.
on Amazon with my
Hmm.
unmarried self.
I think it might, kind of like, James Earl Jones did for me. It hurt, it bruised my ego a
Ooh,
little bit. But from what I've seen, the snippets that I've read, there's a lot of truth in it. So, and this is coming from someone who's married to a black man.
interesting.
And
I'll definitely download it.
this professor, Ralph Richard Banks, is married to a black woman. So
Is he a white man? He's black.
He's black, and he's
Okay.
married to a black woman saying this. So he fits my criteria. He fits in with my code. So
Okay.
we'll see what he has to say. Okay, but yep, that's all I've got. I'm not gonna hold us.
Yeah, I'm about to. I want a grilled cheese sandwich, but it's too late.
Yeah, to say, sir, it's going on 1:00 in the morning for you. No. You gonna wake up. You gonna wake up with motherboard ankles. Keep on.
I know. I want a grilled cheese sandwich.
Look, I'm talking smack. I got some cupcakes and they're calling my name.
A grilled cheese sandwich with some garlic butter.
Ooh, and you know what I did for the first time?
What's that?
You know the Hawaiian bread?
Yeah.
I did the garlic bread version of those, where you take a whole pack, you cut them in the middle, you butter your casserole dish, put the bottom half in there, and you smear that with butter, you season it with your onion powder, your garlic powder, parsley, then you layer that with cheese, and then you put the top on it and make little slits in it, and then cover, and you put some more seasoning on it, and you cover it with butter and let it soak it up for about 15-20 minutes, and then put it in the oven and melt all of that gloriousness together. Man,
just cholesterol.
It is, and that's part of the reason why my ankle's swollen now.
So next week I gotta fast though. I agreed to fast and pray.
What, leading up to Easter?
So
yeah, we got Passover coming up, so I haven't. I'll be here at the house, but oh, mercy, excuse me, I'm yawning. It's almost 10, but I've been yawning all day.
So yeah, I gotta remind myself, you're fasting. Don't you hate when you forget you're fasting? You go to the vending machine and eat something, and you're like, oh, supposed to be fasting.
You just say your prayer, write it out, apologize, and keep on going.
I will do it this week. I am going to do it. I'm going to stick to the fast.
It's a muscle. The more you fast, the more you get used to fasting. It's fine.
Watch one of the Trinidadian ladies bring some food.
This is what you do. Are you fasting for? It's not Ramadan, is it? No, it's still
no. Ramadan was last week, wasn't it? Oh, Ramadan is a whole month.
Yeah, it's a whole month. I think Ramadan is coming up. I thought that was, and I could be completely wrong. And I apologize to anybody that's listening and celebrates Ramadan. I may have gotten it completely wrong. But what I do is I take a empty lunch container, and when people offer me food at work, I accept it, and I'll fix a whole plate and take it to another place and put that in that Tupperware container, so that during the time that I can eat, I go back and eat it. So that way you get the good food, but you get to eat it when you can't eat it. I mean, folks,
I'm listening to you.
Know my Tupperware.
I just saw an article pop up. I was listening to you because I've often went to the gas pump. You ever go to the gas pump and you see those little decals, a picture of Joe Biden pointing to the gas price, talking about, I did that?
Yeah. Where does that
And I always wonder who does that. They said a man was arrested after placing Biden decals on gas pumps as fuel anger grows. Because I was like, who does that? I started to see them a lot in Durham. Like everywhere I go, it's that little picture of Joe Biden pointing to the price. I'm like, I did that.
So how we got the cabin, right? And I've told you many times about that little area where we are in the political climate there. And I'm glad you picked this. You said something about that. And this won't get us dinged because technically the word is covered up. But on, let's see, what's the deets on this? March 22nd, I was down there. And I took this picture.
Oh.
I saw it and it threw me. I was like, okay. I didn't even see that I did that part. I saw the other obvious part. But now that you bring it up, yeah. So this is happening in northern Arizona. ADOT. The ADOT sticker is right there.
So it's a concerted effort by,
Mhm,
because I see them everywhere. I'm like, man, look at this.
mhm. But I mean, I'm not surprised in that area where I am because the Republican, they have like the Republican, well, they have it for Democrat too, but where you go vote and they have all this information and stuff. Like they have people out there singing year round. Trump's picture and banner is all over the place. They have Saturday like parties and stuff out there waving flags and honk for Trump and you can't,
I
whatever
can't.
his saying is, MAGA for life, all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
The Trumpiest of the Trumpsters.
Oh yeah, But like I said, I'm out in the rural northeastern part of Arizona. I completely expect that. Totally expect it.
All right, Nicole, I'm about to get off. It is
It's
12:53.
almost 1 o'clock in the morning for you. Yeah, you gonna go to bed.
Oh, and
We'll talk.
my iPod Pro pop-up just came up saying battery going dead. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna have to get off here. All right, good
Okay.
night.
Good night. We'll
All
talk to
right,
y'all later.
talk to
Bye.
you later. Bye-bye.